me kick you.
That's fine. Like, I would love that. But you're doing the side.
Oh, this is gonna be amazing because I'm never gonna kick comedian.
Oh, I think you will.
Melissa, what are you doing tonight with your boyfriend? Reading Quran? The glorious Quran? It's glorious.
Obsessed.
Are you still with a Muslim, Melissa?
He's obsessed with me.
No, but this guy is more obsessed with me than his own tenants.
Wait, why does a rabbi call you bubble butt? There's no way you have a bubble butt.
Because she's got a
Why do you live on the government? You don't have a job.
She has a beautiful bubble butt.
I was just asking a question about your bubble butt.
Yeah, she has a very round, juicy, peachy bubble butt.
Why don't you worry about the women that you don't have, comedian? But we can go back to how you said you went on a date, but the woman would only take a picture with you and another man. We can go back to that.
Wait.
Oh.
Can you
Yeah.
repeat that again?
That's rude?
That didn't end.
When you went on a date, but the only picture he has is him with the woman and another man. Cock.
I was telling her about you guys, and you know,
Is that true?
she doesn't. I don't think she wants to talk to me
Yeah, you
anymore. But
PTR'd it. This was like last week when he was obsessed with me again.
Are you a cock comedian?
am I a cock? Well, maybe
You're
unintentionally.
a cock.
You know,
And then
every
he's
once
like,
in a
She
while.
listens to my YouTube. She's a viewer. She's a
See,
fan.
I love, and occasionally you wander into somebody's disaster, aka their spider web, and you unintentionally become a cuck. Good Shabbos, Caleb Ben Yapuna. Ribbono
Literally,
Shaloy
nobody watches your
Loim.
YouTube, though. I would be concerned if you were interested in a person that watched your YouTube, because it means they're probably mentally deranged.
You could say that, but the point is, everyone has their health struggles. Ribbono Shalom, Caleb. Good Shabbos.
Shabbat shalom.
And to you.
Shabbat shalom.
You know, I was reading Zohar earlier, and that part with the et Abraham, et Isaac, et Caleb, et Rabbi. What is the et? What is the et, Rabbi Caleb?
Rabbi, you don't mind if I use this likeness quickly in some Jewish rooms and come right back?
Caleb, okay.
That's okay. But Caleb is protected now.
So I cannot kick Caleb, okay.
Oh. By Caleb, you can't mod anyone or kick anyone. You can
Yeah, Caleb. So this is the game. From the mods, only Simon can mod other people, and only I can kick people. All you can do is mute people.
And he can't talk though, so he can't respond to that.
But you can only Simon. It's your responsibility to tell the rules to the people you mod.
Correct.
So
Rabbi,
can I use this likeness in the Jewish rooms?
What do you think about only doing a yes or no room where all you can do is ask questions and respond with yes or no, and that's the whole debate? If anybody breaks from the yes or no response, they're immediately kicked to the goo.
We played a better game before. If you ask a question, you get kicked immediately. If you want to ask a question, you pose it as a statement. You don't ask a question. The moment you ask a question, you get kicked. That's a better game.
Or everything.
Well, see, that's a good game, but I just want to test both of those games to see which one produces the best results.
Well, the future, we have a lot of time. We're going to try all the games, and you're going to end up only playing with these nuts, I can tell you.
Listen, you can come waste my seat if you want to.
Well, I mean, we do respect consent. Hey, Rick is protected now.
Oh, Simon, you protected Rick? Rick, you know the rules, right?
Let me check the chat.
You cannot do anything with your mod other than mute people.
That's fine.
Okay, Simon is the only one that can
What's
mod,
up,
and I'm the
Janet?
one who can kick. What's Mama Janet?
Mama Janet?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
So good to see you.
I know, I miss you guys.
Listen, I got to get ready for Shabbos, read a book, and go to the gym. This game has been fun, but come waste my seat if you want to.
Oh, honey, you're leaving?
No, I just wanted to remind everybody to go to the gym and read a book.
Simon!
Allahu Akbar! Boom the room! Who boomed the fucking room? It was me. It was me!
Because it's like a very niche way of thinking about like epistemology.
And just wanting to point out where they made the shift is like crucial.
It's going to be called Boom, Come Waste My Seed. If okay, this is called Come Waste My Seed if you want to. See if anybody comes to waste my seed.
Joseph's dream. Joseph dreamed a dream and told it to his brothers. They hated him even more. Rabbi here opened and said, hear my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, Yahweh, make myself known to him in a vision. I speak with him in a dream. Come and see how many levels within levels the Blessed Holy One has made. Arrange one.
Okay, comedian is back. I'm never gonna mock.
We have 3 rabbis in this room. There's actually only one real
Comedian,
rabbi.
you're an asshole. Why did you boom the room, dude?
You didn't hear me scream Allahu Akbar before I boomed it?
Nobody cares. You couldn't do that, dude. That was not your role.
Dude, that was a joke. I'm a comedian, man.
Nobody
Welcome.
cares about your
Nobody
jokes. You're
cares.
retarded.
Yo prefiero español con tú.
But it did
Esta-
turn out better. It did turn out to be better for you, Isabel. Now you have more power.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the other game was developing.
But I played my game, and you know, it was a rule that wasn't introduced, but I made the rule up as we go along. That's the way games work. Sometimes just people boom the room.
Shut up.
No, honestly, that's one of my favorite things to do is to boom the room and scream Allahu Akbar. There's something about that which just kills
And
me.
this is the reason why we don't want you anymore. I used to trust
That's
you.
cool, but occasionally I get to boom a room, and it comes up once a week. I'm booming rooms.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's healthy. It's like clearing the brush, you know, or imploding 2 towers with, you know. Anyways, you get the point. From destruction comes creation.
So that's the thing. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have a timer, and I want to see which mods can lead up to a room that affects the longest.
Oh, my wife,
longest survival.
Galilean Princess is here. Hello, my darling.
Whoever mods that, those are the winners.
When are you coming to Chicago so
Oh,
we can
the
go
longest survivors
sailing?
are, like, I've had rooms where everybody's a mod.
On my
it has,
boat.
It has gone for like
The Lady
over
Hawk.
a day. Just the other room that you left the other day. Remember when you left me with
No, but I mean with this game.
Tommy? And everybody turned to be a mod, and it lasted for so long, that room.
But with this game, because here the separation of happens, because you are a mod. He is only allowed. I am only allowed to mute.
You know, your game's gotten too many rules. It's getting boring already. Let's just start the game.
There's no rules. It's just roles. Separation of power. Do you believe in a total authoritarian regime, or do you believe in the separation of power?
I believe in the 3 co-equal branches of government: the left, the center, and the right.
If separation of power is good, then this will be reflected in the room.
Well, then only keep it with 3 mods. No more than 3 mods should be our rule.
No.
He doesn't get it.
Isabel can mod whoever she wants.
He doesn't get it. Anyway, so today, Randy, I think we made a little bit of progress with Simon.
I don't think there's progress in sign.
I think we did a little bit of progress. I'll tell you how. So we started talking about, and I think this is what made a little bit of a difference. We started talking about the parable of
Lie with me. She grabbed him by his coat. Because when the deviser of evil takes control of a person, he dresses him up in beautiful clothes, curls his hair, and says, lie with me, join me. One who is pure steals himself and wages war, what is written. But he left his coat in her hand and fled outdoors. One should abandon him, harden oneself against him, flee from him to be safe from him, then he cannot take control. Rabbi Yitzhak said, the righteous are destined to see the deviser of evil in the shape of a huge mountain. Astounded they will say, how were we able to overturn that huge mountain? The wicked are destined to see. How does the deviser of evil operate? Once he sees that no man stands in his way, ready to fight him, immediately she grabbed him by his coat and said, lie with me. She grabbed him by his coat, because when the deviser of evil takes control of a person, he dresses him up in beautiful clothes, curls his hair, and says, lie with me, join me. One who is pure steals himself and wages war, what is written. But he left his coat in her hand and fled outdoors. One should abandon him, harden oneself against him, flee from him to be safe from him, then he cannot take control. Rabbi Yitzhak said, the righteous are destined to see the deviser of evil in the shape of a huge mountain. Astounded they will say, how were we able to overturn that huge mountain? The wicked are destined to see. How does the deviser
You should see this comment.
Once he sees that no man
This
stands
is the
in his way,
comment.
ready to fight him.
Whatever this is, it's awful. Nothing comedy about it. After checking out the channel, it looks like some unemployed loser yapping off topic background images. It may be YouTube, but it takes more than random hashtags and spontaneity to be funny. Gotta smash this to do not recommend channel button. I wrote thanks. That guy's name is Poppin' Fresh. Let me see how many fucking. Only 10 subscribers. See, it's so crazy that people shit on me, but they have no content of their own. Maybe it's the comedian, I don't know.
How does the deviser of evil operate? Once
So you're young, which is fine. I'm 65.
No, not much.
You know, that's just the first go.
No, it's, the thing is, nobody.
after the flood, without radical and substantial spending changes, the taxpayers, aka the homeowners and business owners of Illinois in the 16th District, will never escape rising property. To the voters of the 16th District in Illinois. Breaking news by candidate John Kitover, Congressman for the... Come and see, to ordain it in it. After the flood, everybody, voters of the 16th District.
What up, Chris?
How does the deviser? He drank of the wine and became, for without the... He drank of the wine and became drunk and uncovered himself within his tent. Abraham entered and emerged, as it is written, and Abram went down to Egypt, and Abram came up from Egypt. Isaac entered and emerged, as it is written, Isaac went to...
He kicked me.
Amalek, king of the Philistines in Gerar. From there he went up to Beersheba. Jacob, having entered into faith, and to continue and probe the other side for one who is saved from there is a loved one, a chosen one of the blessed Holy One. What is written, Jacob left Beersheba, the secret of the mystery of faith, and set out for Haran, side of the woman, of whoredom, the adulteress, the secret of secrets, out of the scorching noon of Isaac, out of the dregs of wine of fungus and the
Hello?
Has nothing to do with the concept of morality itself.
Oh wow.
Relax.
No, what I do, is it moral or is it immoral?
No, but that's not what we're talking about. Right now, we're trying to bridge the gap between how you think what the standard of good is whatever God says it is, and whatever I think the good is whatever.
But I don't.
How many times are you losers going to have this same conversation with Simon? It's pathetic.
How many fucking times can you shut the fuck up and
urged cluster.
How many times you losers are going to have this same conversation? Oh man, he got it. He fucking kicked me. That was awesome. How many times you losers are going to have the same conversation with Simon?
Then entered and emerged, as it is written, and Abram went down to Egypt, and Abram came up from Egypt. Isaac entered and emerged, as it is written, Isaac went to Abimelech, king of the Philistines.
You can get somebody to crash out. That's the best way to go.
Jacob, having entered into faith, and to continue and probe the other side for one who is saved from there is a loved one, a chosen one of the blessed Holy One. What is written, Jacob left Beersheba, the secret of the mystery of faith, and set out for Haran.
We gotta get going
Side
now.
of the woman, of whoredom, the adulteress, the secret of secrets, out of the scorching noon of Isaac, out of the dregs of wine of fungus emerged a cluster, male and female.
Let's do it this way.
Do it again the same way. I'm just not going to debate Simon.
No, you can kick anyone. You don't get to choose who can mod anyone yet. But the one who kicks is the one who has to choose who is the one who mods.
Before he leaves.
No. I mean, so the one who has the authority to kick, that is the person who should assign the one who has authority to mod.
Voters of the 16th
Okay,
District.
so I do it the same.
So this way there is a separation of power, but there's like a synchronicity between these nuts and those nuts.
Yeah, but this is what we did before, but just the other way around.
Yeah, but I don't think it makes sense because you already have more. If you're the one who mods, you already have more power. So
Yeah, let's do it like the other time. Like the other time was good.
No, that's because you want to protect. You don't want to kick.
No, I don't care. But it's just like we did. It was working. It's just that Simon just fucked it up instead of.
Okay, fine. Okay, I'll tell you what. You are the one who mods them, but then you're not. You don't get to choose who kicks. Caleb, you're the one who.
You choose the one who kicks. Caleb gets to kick.
I get to choose who to kick out?
Yeah, you don't need any reason.
You don't want to give me that power.
Well, Isabel is the one giving you that power because she can take.
He's just gonna randomly start kicking people.
I didn't do it.
Yeah, we know you didn't. He does that all the time. Yeah, Simon is retarded, dude.
Comedy, you know the story called "Who Ordered This Done"?
No, but I heard if you don't study Torah, you're covered in excrement.
Oh, is that true?
That's what the Zohar says.
Must be true.
Yeah, Simon is an idiot.
I thought that was hilarious how like Simon impersonated me and crashed out. Like I love these microaggressions in this app. It's delightful.
He didn't impersonate you. He kicked you.
So what did we notice here? We noticed that separation of power creates a new problem, which is the fact that people have to respect their roles.
Yeah, it's like they get drunk with power. They don't know how to respect the rules.
Exactly, but that tells you something about governance. I'm not sure I believe in separation of power. That's why I want to do this.
Of course you don't. You're a funny Christian. Of course you don't believe in separation of powers. Duh.
Oh, that actually that does. I don't think that's the best way to move forward.
How do people even think that there's, actual? Well, see, the thing is, according to the theory, there's just one continuity. So there's an illusion of separation of powers.
Well, I mean, okay, well, you could argue that's the case because Simon just kicked you when he wasn't supposed to, so that's an older report. So, I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that. But you just come through the realization of certain things. Like, okay, if that's how it is in a small room, what you tell me that's not how it's like elsewhere? Like, do you believe that okay, for the judiciary system and the legislative and the executive, do you think these are truly separate?
No, what I'm saying is there's one theory of unity or one law, which is really like saying below is above is below, meaning that all things are God, all things are connected through nothing.
Yeah, but nothing is everything.
No, the nothing is not everything. The nothing is a part of the everything, but the something is not nothing. And through the nothing and the something, you have everything.
Well, one can argue nothing is something.
Right, nothing is something.
Show me the nothing then.
Well, did you ever see the movie with Atreyu and the nothing is devouring everything on the earth, and all the princess has to do from the never-ending story where
So the nothing turns into everything. So
I don't know. The nothing is starting to sound
no,
like something.
the queen of the universe can't turn the nothing around and prevent the nothing from consuming everything unless Atreyu says the secret word.
Yeah, but once the nothing destroys everything, it becomes the everything.
Caleb, you can kick comedy if you want.
No, I agree with him. Infinite everything is the same as infinite nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but infinite doesn't exist.
People say infinite egress, but I think it's like infinite regress, right? But doesn't that just mean God, the further you go out into imagination and concept, the further God goes out? Like it's just this unattainable, Ein Sof, so to speak.
Exactly. Infinite is everything and it's nothing. Yeah, exactly, because it's not a thing. It cannot be reached. I mean, that was my whole argument. That's my whole premise for proving the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with math. That's true.
But what about the word all-ah? And then even in Torah or Toira, it's two Ra, and Israel is Ra-El. So, I mean, if you really look at the words, and I don't think I'm just doing like playful wordplay, I think like the words themselves, if you spend enough time contemplating it.
Yes, you are.
Can you read to him, because I'm far away from my phone, can you read to him concept word fallacy?
I don't think Torah, or Israel are, word fallacies. I think that this deals with the Egyptian mythology, no?
No, that is called
Concept. Word fallacy.
That's right.
I mean, you don't think Allah is the same as saying Allah is God in Yiddish, which is all is God? Isn't that what all is?
No, that's concept word fallacy.
No.
So the concept word fallacy is a type of reasoning error where someone assumes that just because there is a word or concept for something, that thing must exist as a distinct entity or force in the real world.
Correct.
The fallacy occurs when the existence of a concept is mistaken for the existence of an actual phenomenon. often leading to misleading or unprovable arguments. That's what he does all the time.
That's right. That's right, exactly. That's concept word fallacy.
Examples. Evil exists because we have a word for it. Just because we label actions as evil doesn't mean evil is a standalone force or entity. Capitalism is the cause of all suffering. Capitalism is a conceptual framework, not a sentient being capable of causing suffering.
Do you even realize what you just said? Can you repeat it back without reading it?
Well, for example, concept word fallacy is like saying also.
Yeah, but it's not giving the right. Yeah.
Communists are capitalists because they have capital.
Yeah,
Well,
but that's not really what the fallacy is.
Well, it could be. That's one. I mean, there's many ways it can be applied. But for example, what I'm referring to is, saying Allah sounds like whatever, therefore it must be the same. No. But
Like Alabama.
Like, okay, the best example is this. Noura, you know Noura, the one who attacked Jews in the elevator. She was telling me that, okay, a Messiah in Arabic is Masih. The root word of Masih is Masah. Therefore, it comes from that word. Okay, but Masih is not an Arabic word. So you cannot go to the Arabic root to explain it. That's word concept fallacy. You're just saying, because that word exists in a certain way, therefore it must mean the same thing. That's just one application of that fallacy. So what this guy's doing is the same. It's like he's saying Israel, but it's like Allah, is the same. No, it's not. It's just not.
So let me ask you a question. I suppose, Dr. Caleb, what are the fruits of the products of Torah? Meaning, is it silence now, joy now, peace now? Are those
that's an example.
the primary
Let me
fruits?
ask you a question that has nothing to do with an actual act. But you can say, asking you a question must refer to me splitting your head open with words because it's acting. But no, but that's not the same thing.
I know, but the Holy Scriptures essentially they produce a catalyst or a product at the end.
But you just Karina, you have to get to the point, otherwise Caleb might kick you.
That's cool. I'm just asking Caleb, what are some of the not coincidences, but what are your aha moments or eureka moments when you've been reading Torah?
I don't know. I wouldn't say there's been so many discrete individual moments. It's more just like over time, you start looking at things and things start getting put together. One big aha moment for me, and this is not like a theological point, but that the idea that the universe is not created out of nothing, that is the basic thrust of Jewish theology and biblical theology. That was a life changer for me. It was a game changer.
So the universe does not come out of nothing.
Correct.
But in a way, it does.
There's no such thing as nothing. There's always something.
Meaning
sometimes
that's the first cause.
Yeah, I mean, Maimonides agrees with this too, right? And the Kabbalah agrees with this too. And Genesis 1 does not say that the world was created out of nothing. It says it was created out of something, just undifferentiated things.
Well, it was created out of the Word.
Well, no, it was created out of the primordial chaos.
Right, but through Hebrew,
nothing means chaos. Something means order.
Look at rabbis.
Right, but the something is essentially light, and the nothing is essentially darkness, which is a void.
Partially, yeah, I think that's part of it.
But the thing is, you can't have light without darkness, so they're intertwined. And in ecology, you would call it the organism, environment, organism. Meaning, I'm not just comedy; I'm actually the environment.
Again, the word concept fallacy.
No, it's not. This is what Alan Watts talks about a lot. This deals with Taoism or Buddhism or even Hinduism, many other faiths, meaning that something does come from nothing. That the first cause is actually just a communication, but it's not truly
All Alan wants is word. All he does is word concept fallacy.
Well, you're just learning English, Dr. Rabbi. You should appreciate a native English speaker.
Well, you would find native English speakers to be the least competent when it comes to at least spelling. And I can tell you, usually people who speak only one language aren't really the most read. And so
100%.
when it comes to
I always come up with words that these people don't even know, and it's because I speak other languages and they are kind of like the same words in English. So we do have more knowledge a lot of the times of the language.
Yeah. Because again, we're more read. If you find, so for example, Americans usually suck at spelling. It's actually true. Because they speak one language.
Yeah, and they even say things like they have went. It's not they have went, they have gone.
I mean, look at the blacks. They say, can I ask you a question? Amazing. Where's Simon? We need Simon. So that he can explain to us how reality is what it is, even though there are some expectations that influence reality.
Yeah, I think that after 2 times of having fucked up the room, he knows that it will be problematic for him to come back.
Well, just
I think
listen.
what's weird about Simon's position there is like his obsession with the word epistemology. And I don't think he understands the difference between ontology and epistemology. I really don't think he gets that.
But that is what he does with words, because he has found them in the readings that he has used, and he's using them all the time, even if he doesn't really make sense of them. And that becomes like throwing these words becomes his defense, of his points.
That's right.
Doesn't mean that he is making any sense of it.
That's right. But if you actually, for example, if you look at the reason I gave him the example of inflation, right? Because inflation is actually equal to what is known as the output gap plus the expected inflation plus supply shocks. Okay, so but the expected inflation, so that means expectation creates reality. So then reality is not what it is simply, regardless of perception. It is based on collective perception.
It's based on the words that you have integrated into your consciousness. It's your large language model. If you don't have an expansive vocabulary, you can't have the thought or even have the imagination or the concept without the word. It requires a word to have a concept.
You know what? Man, I wish I have the power that Caleb has.
I don't know why it's so hard for you to listen to my words, but perhaps it's a you problem.
We need to amend the rules to allow for moving someone to the audience, man. Sure.
I'd like to institute a new rule. If you say the N word, you get kicked immediately.
No, oh my god, that's not. That's how you get modded. Actually, that would be a fun game. Everyone says nigger all the time, so if you say you get kicked, that'd be a nice game. Yeah. But it's just that I'm gonna end up being alone in the room.
You will end up being what in the room?
Alone.
What, did somebody nigga kick them?
Yeah, if that's the game.
Oh yeah, well, Tim wouldn't last.
Tim would disappear.
Deborah's laughing.
Even before he could come to the stage. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I would also be kicked immediately.
But that is a gay rule because shit.
You know what? We can do a better rule. We can amend it. You can kick whoever you want. However, the person you want to kick, you can give them the choice to move themselves back to the audience. And if they come on the stage, you can. Well, I mean, hey, I don't know. I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea. No, actually, it's not. Okay, because then they can collaborate with the guy who wants. No. Shit. Anyways, but think about it. It is true. If expectation creates reality, that means then that reality is subjective based on the collective perception. Or the
Yeah, that's
perception of
what,
the
also
collective.
what I was telling Simon. Oh, Kevin is here.
Oh,
So his model does not, like his worldview does not leave room for expectations. There's nothing called future expectation. I'm expecting a recession. For example, yeah, if people are expecting a recession will happen. Because if I'm expecting a recession, I'm gonna start behaving like there is gonna be a recession.
yeah, I mean, that's like a pretty common principle.
Yeah, I know, but
Economics. I mean, there's also the flip side of that of which economists coined the term irrational exuberance on the other end, that like everyone gets really excited about the price of a stock going up, so they buy more of a stock, which pushes up the price even more.
Okay, but all of that is based on what? That's based on expectation. Like they're expecting it to go up even more, so they buy it. Okay, but that makes it go up more. So expectation creates reality. That means reality, if it's based on expectation, then it cannot be what it is. Like it's not the law of identity that because how do they define it? The objectivist is about. Like he keeps saying, I forgot. He says reality is what it is, regardless of perception, feeling, and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But reality can be influenced by perception, so it's not independent of perception.
Yeah, but that is what I told him. That everything that is a concept, or even facts can be perceived differently. There might be a fact, and that is the reason why I gave him the elephant, and the blind man parable. Because even if the elephant is the objective truth and the objective fact, the man will never get to see the elephant, right? They only can perceive it. And so when you have three men touching the elephant, then the reality is that they are, I don't know, like guessing, I don't know, maybe it's a wall, maybe it's like a submarine, whatever, it just feels weird. Once you add four men to the equation where they're also touching the elephant, then reality starts shifting. The facts start shifting, and the truth that we're approximating starts shifting because it's driven by the perception of all of the men, right? So the more information or the more access to the facts we have, and our reality is building. Randy, what if I need to leave for a little bit? Can I name someone to be the mod of mods in the meantime?
Yeah, but that causes discrepancies.
Why?
But yeah, that's the only way it can work.
Yeah, so can I name Q will be the mod of mods in my absence, and then I retake my power when I'm back?
Only if he agrees, because once you give it to him, he can choose not to give it back.
No, he can't choose to give it back. It's my power.
That's not true. No, in Islam, if you divorce your wife 3 times, he has to go get married to someone else, do 69 with him, and then come back. But what if he doesn't want to divorce her? Then she.
All right, if we 69, I'll give it back.
Exactly. So he has to divorce.
Wow.
Otherwise, she can't come back. Right. So once you give it to him, he might not want to yield it. That's what I'm saying.
Wow, that is so unfair.
That's the game. So are you gonna yield it to Q?
Well, I need to leave.
Okay, Q is the new Lord of Mods.
What happens if she leaves and doesn't give it to someone?
She can't.
She can't leave?
Then it will be the first mod. Which
Which is you.
No.
Exactly.
I have no power. I'm just an observer.
Well, I'm technically the first mod then, right?
For the first mod that I made.
No. The first, like the top mod. If she doesn't,
Yeah, that was weird.
she gets to name someone. If she doesn't do it, then it will be the top mod. When she comes back, that top mod, he can choose to give it back to, or he can choose to be a bit.
Okay, I give it to you, Q. You're the mod of mods.
I think what you're saying about
Numărul
expectations.
Your name, the months.
I wasn't there for the earlier conversation with Simon, but my guess is like what you're saying about expectations helping to shape reality is different from the claim that like, or the question of whether or not reality exists outside of our perception of reality.
All based on Ayn Rand. Do you know Ayn Rand's perspective? Oh my God, Caleb ran away. Kevin, you can.
No, I don't know her perspective on reality itself.
Kevin, you can kick whoever you want, but you can't mod anyone and you can't move anyone to the
Sweet.
Yeah, you can kick anyone. You don't even need a reason. Kevin, wait 1 second. Is the new Lord of Kicks. Okay, so go ahead. Yeah, I'm telling you, it has everything to do with Ayn Rand philosophy. She believes that reality is what it is, regardless of perception. This is what Simon religiously believes in. But reality can be shaped by expectation. So his worldview leaves no room for expectation. It's not a thing. It doesn't exist. People don't have future expectations.
Well, no, I mean there still would be a reality regardless of the expectation. It's the expectation is like expectation doesn't really shape current reality. It shapes future reality, which is then just reality. I don't know. I mean, I tend to think that there is I tend to think that there is some sort of reality outside of our expectations. It might not be really something that we can fully comprehend, but there probably is some sort of there, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
no, reality is what it is now, but like reality tomorrow is not. It is based on our expectations.
Well, the reality tomorrow is reality tomorrow. I mean,
like you are expecting an inflation tomorrow. That doesn't impact you today. Now you see how it's like, oh, I expect an inflation, but that's so today reality is what it is. Tomorrow,
it still is what it is. It's just conditional on today's feelings and expectation.
Exactly. So it no longer. So it is subjective based on perception. It is no longer independent of perception in the future. So what I'm trying to tell you is his paradigm leaves no room for changes in time.
Well, I mean, his paradigm is like incredibly flawed and leaves like a lot of open questions. I don't know if that's the biggest one, but I mean,
that is a beautiful one. There's others.
I think the biggest issue with that kind of rigid worldview is it's so anti-consequentialist that he cannot be in my mind. You know, everything I believe in, at least in terms of prescriptive beliefs, is because I think it would lead to some sort of outcome. If you can convince me that the outcome would be different or bad, I'd probably change my prescriptive beliefs. Whereas Simon believes that all of these things are inherently moral and good in and of themselves, and even if I could somehow convince him that if his views were applied, it would make the world a horrible place, he would still support all of those things. Even if it makes the world horrible, which I think is very untenable.
No, I don't think he supports these things because.
No, he supports. I mean, in terms of the belief,
He doesn't, for example.
But you're also an ANCAP. I don't know. I feel like you should agree with him on most things, right? I mean, he's
because
he's he's an objectivist, libertarian. You're an ANCAP,
So we're not talking about. We're talking about morality. He believes the standard of morality is my life. So then I should, if he were consistent, which he's not, he would say, I should kill my children so that I may live. He doesn't agree with that, but he should agree with that. Because my life is a morality.
I'd have to have him in the room in order to talk to him.
Yeah, he was, but then he started kicking people.
Sorry.
So we had to restart the room, and he didn't come back. But yeah, he does believe my life is the standard of morality. Everything that pushes my life forward is moral. Everything that pushes it back is immoral.
Well, so long as it doesn't, it would then follow that it is so long as it doesn't infringe on other people's ability to live their lives, right?
No. Because my life is the standard, not your life.
But yeah, but that's everybody's life is the standard, therefore you must respect other people's lives.
No,
Right.
no.
I'm pretty sure that's what he would say if he was in the room. That's part of the
No,
standard.
what he would say, he doesn't say shit, it's Ayn Rand. What she would say is that you cannot initiate force. But then that's subjective. Because I could say that I'm continuing a force that you've initiated.
Kevin, is it true that you're not familiar with the teachings of Ayn Rand?
I mean, I'm familiar. I just like haven't read her books. Like I understand it's I broadly think of it as like a flavor of libertarianism. It's like it's a philosophical foundation for a lot of libertarian thinkers, and I understand like some of like the general premises. It's very like non-aggression principle-y and in favor of greed and it's anti-altruism. Like I know like some of the basics. I just like haven't.
It's the opposite of leftism.
What?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of these terms
I'm
are.
the opposite of leftist.
I think Ayn Rand, in a nutshell, is basically just fuck you. The philosophy of Ayn Rand is basically just fuck you. And leave me alone. Fuck you, leave me alone is basically Ayn Rand in a nutshell. Fuck you, leave me alone.
Well, yeah, you know what? I actually agree with that because it does remind me of like a teenager in their room, like fuck you, mom, leave me alone.
Yeah,
No,
shrug you off.
the only one like that. That's not
We
unique.
We built the railroads, not the Chinese slaves.
That's not unique to her at all.
Hi Zoe.
What is unique to her is that she's an atheist who believes in some sort of divine morality. So she created her own god, basically.
Yeah. Oh, I think natural rights is one of the dumbest concepts that's
Turns
ever
out
been.
it's a topper.
The idea that like at least like God-given rights is something I can kind of get. Like God-given rights is something that I can kind of get behind.
You took Caleb's spot as the new Lord of Kicks. Do you want to give it back, or do you choose to retain it?
I don't really care. I mean, he can have it.
Hi, it's John.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You can keep. Okay. Cool. I don't really care though.
But you need to make the decision.
Okay. I'll keep the position, I guess.
Alright.
Because I got my eye on John or Edmund or whatever the fuck his name is.
Doesn't matter. You can kick anyone without you don't even need the reason.
I'm waiting for him. No, it's fine. I can't kick someone without reason, but I'm ready. I'm ready to go. And Rico, I won't be kicking you. You're too funny.
Okay, sounds good. No, that's it.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I was like, I have a lot of issues with the natural rights. I think natural rights are kind of stupid. And I even think that like sometimes the left takes a little bit of that when they like declare something like healthcare, like this is a human right, that is a human right. Like I tend to kind of agree with Scalia about like paper rights of like, well, the rights are only so good insofar as like you have a government like with the legitimacy and the ability to actually enforce said rights. So I think it's kind of vacuous, I tend to, even for stuff like that, I tend to use terms like it should be a privilege of living in a particular country or of being a citizen in good standing in a particular country. But then I don't know. Yeah, well that's interesting. Like
Yeah, so I'm gonna give her
that.
Because that's not
Okay. So I guess so you're saying citizenship like my initial thought would be, well, how do you know what laws apply to you then? I guess in this case it would just be like wherever you are, like if you're in a particular place, the laws of that place apply to you. Yeah, but I don't know. But then the issue is like I feel like if you don't have, or are you like what would stop someone from? I don't know. This is like so deep in her, but like you get to questions of like borders and nations and laws. I don't believe. Okay, so like I guess my issue there is like right now we have a system in which you're in a particular place, which is outlined by particular borders, and you are members of a particular state now I changed all my political views.
I changed all my political views because people were mean to me.
They were mean to me. They were so mean to me. I decided that more people don't deserve health care, but these people were mean to me.
I do understand that we live in a certain situation. I'm not assuming we live in a different situation. I'm talking about my ideal world would be a different where you cannot fuck me over because I have a gun. Fuck with me.
But what if my gun was stolen? What if Rabbi, what if my gun is
Is
fired?
just looking for money from mattress. Turns out it's a topper, not a stall money from mattress. It can bring you a full queen frame.
Okay, I will take this job.
I'll send the next count will bring it in at 6 to 7 p.m. It's a high quality memory foam.
Which powers do I have?
Very comfortable story about the confusion of listening. Helping you.
I do understand that there's borders. I do understand that.
Well, but also it's just problem like
Oh,
there's
from
no
excuse
police,
me.
and it's just like who's got like
I don't believe it.
who's got more friends with guns. And it's like I got more friends with guns. I get to like kidnap your wife and make you a permanent couple in my basement, and there's really nothing that you can do about it.
Right.
Okay, well, I don't want to live in that society. That sounds like a shitty society. I like having like.
Well, you do live in that society. Yes, I have the
No, I live in a society where if someone like wrongs me, like where someone gets kidnapped, there's like a force that's trying to.
Okay, you have people above the law. I'm saying the law applies to the people who do the community. Not the law has to be by the people for the people. Actually, by the people for the people. In this community, you cannot be a faggot. If we see you be a faggot, we're gonna kill you. You go to the
behind closed doors, right?
you go to the different community. In that community, you cannot be black.
Well, but that's
No, hey, but you can go. There's something for everyone. You know.
The problem with this though is that now you run into a situation where I'm assuming that there isn't like free movement. Everybody can just choose where they want to live, right? Like these communities are all in
There's no
borders.
borders.
Or what if somebody wants to leave? What if you have a community, okay, and everybody signs up for the rules in this community and it's all chill, and then someone in that community decides to stage a coup and become little dictator of that community, seal off the borders, and just like turn it into like a little like rape prison.
Yes, but that's not the community. I'm not thinking of a gated community where there's like military men keeping the safety of others. Every man, woman, and child has a gun.
Yeah. What if somebody like what if
So
somebody
yes,
like
we do
what if
have
someone
memory
in this
foam
community convinces a bunch of other people with guns like, hey, you know what, we're like bigger than other people, we're better trained. I bet we can take control of this community and like enforce our will on all these people and like prevent them from leaving.
Like it is now.
You just described the course of humanity.
So we just
I mean,
have the memory foam
that way,
mattress.
I
It
mean,
turns
this is
out
kind
it's
of
a
the issue
topper, not the
with
solid
like
memory foam mattress
if
that I thought it was.
if you buy into like
Bringing
the
you a full queen and frame with a nice
Ancapistan framework, you basically just
high quality
you might
memory
start
foam
out in
and
anarchy,
solid
but then
steel
like
frame.
some history will repeat
Very
itself.
comfortable. Sorry about the confusion. I'll bring you one from Mexico.
Others as well.
Where you said maybe the gay community, but they're just fucking with it.
But you're thinking of it as a different community. I'm not saying it's like a community. I'm not an anarcho-communist. I'm not saying it's a community like The Walking Dead, where you have gated communities and like the wagons or something like watching out for the others. I'm not saying that. Your safety is your responsibility.
We can't have anarchy because warlords
I'm very comfortable. Sorry about the confusion.
Well, how is that different than what we have?
BTR.
I can bring you a full queen and frame for next time. They bring you a 6 7 so high quality.
One of the things that you're forgetting, right, is that people are tribal.
Rabbi's not gonna like it when you get kidnapped and brought to my kingdom called Butt-Rapistan, and every day you're gonna have it called Butt-Rapistan.
You're assuming that that's gonna happen.
That's what we have now.
That's right. I don't believe that.
No, I know that's what
That is what we have right now.
like. That's what the teacher taxes like. Like every day the government rapes me. I can pull my pants down and thrust it.
Look, all I'm telling you is when the law is applied, then the law.
Okay, your society sounds shitty, and I would have.
When the law is applied, the law has to become much less absurd. So when the law is actually applied, it won't be as absurd as you think it is. I don't think there'll be many laws.
Would you have laws?
I don't think you have to sign up to the law. I think the law would go without saying. It's a
by that you mean the people with the most amount of guns and weapons and like the largest army of sheeple get to like enforce their will on everybody else.
No. There would be people, but I'm telling you, there's no.
People
One
are
guy.
people are fine.
No,
the
American military
now.
It's about principles. In this town, for example, we don't accept faggotry. Well, the reason why I say that is because now faggotry is everywhere. What I'm saying, in this town, you cannot.
I'll take that example.
It's not about the leader. It's about the law.
Okay, well, I'll take that example. Okay, so you live in your amazing no faggotry town, okay? But Kevin, King of the Faggot, decided to create my own little town, and we get tons of weapons. And in our town, you have to be gay. And then we go into your town and sodomize everyone and say that, like, oh, like, you have to live in our. Okay, yeah, well, okay, so then, yeah, that's fine.
It does sound like now. You could do that, but then if you're retaliation, then we're gonna go to your town and we're gonna.
No, but what if we're just like, what if we're just like, absolutely, we have the absolute advantage. We have more numbers, we have more guns. Sounds like you're just gonna get butt raped.
I think that's sounds like Homo American now. That's a mathematical impossibility.
I don't know.
It's a mathematical impossibility, but let's assume that's the case. That's what it is.
Okay, so that's fine, and there's nothing you can do about that. It's just like,
because it's
like,
all
yeah,
the
it's like,
people who buy the people.
yeah, warlord, society is much more preferable.
Like America now.
Randy, you're inconsistent because you do not have that view of humanity. Your psychology doesn't premise itself on people being able to cope with that. You know what people are like.
Okay, so yeah, but what do you mean?
It's contradiction because you know that people are idiots or animals or whatever.
Yeah, but there will be but there will be idiots who are able to live the way they want to live, and then they're going to be weeded out with time. Because if you're an idiot, your lifestyle obviously is not optimal.
A lot of assumptions are being made here.
You're going to weed out by default, aren't you? It's
Yeah, but I don't disagree with that. I don't think might make
Like it is
right.
now.
I don't think might make right. I do believe that might make. Period.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, largely speaking, we've set up societal institutions to prevent weaker people from being constantly trampled by either bigger people or larger groups of people. And the system, like, obviously doesn't always work well, but it seems preferable to just, like, we already, we saw this before in history. We saw what it was like when there were no central nation states, and it was, pre-unification feudal Japan, where it was just a society that was run by warlords. I mean, it wasn't like a good time.
Well, that's very subjective, though. That's very whether it's a good time or not.
I would rather live. I think you would not want to live in fucking pre-unification feudal Japan as opposed to today. Like today, you got rights. You got like you can you can do so much stuff. You can like go to the dispensary and smoke weed, and you got iPhones. I know. I mean, it's just clearly like all around a much better time. Like life expectancy.
Yeah, give me 2025
It's less violent. Life expectancy is longer. People are more educated. We have cooler shit. Like it's just all around much better. And you have more rights. And you have more rights, which is like a real thing.
But they're not necessarily good rights. I think Randy probably would agree with a lot of the rights.
I don't believe you have rights. The only right you have is the right to fight.
Because you don't have rights.
Yeah. But in
You have the right to be. Okay, in my world, you have the right to be my nigga. That's right.
Okay, but I have a question about rights.
Kevin, the Constitution is like a worse version of the Magna Carta, which guarantees you life, liberty, and property, whereas like
The Magna Retarda.
the Constitution guarantees you life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So it's kind of open-ended, but like life, liberty, and property is a better deal than Magna Carta.
Sure. I would say this idea, like rights are certainly a real thing, and we know this because I think everyone here would agree that some countries have more rights than other countries. Whether or not rights are like a real thing and like the abstract term is like questionable, but clearly some countries have more rights than other countries. Like in the United States, you have a greater degree of rights over your property than in North Korea, right? So clearly rights are real.
human rights, though. That's
Human rights are real. I mean, who was to say that? Okay, what